and Ron, and everyone over here that's involved in different events that are happening with different communities. And that's the beauty. The fact that we are able to stand together and come around and fight together for what's right. But most important is together. To life.
Right.
Everyone, I would just encourage you to grab some food before we start. There are uh, there is a buffet line or buffet table. Please, is that right, Miss Cynthia? I would encourage you to do that before the fireworks start. All right, I'm going to grab some food, and then from there we'll start.
Yeah. But this is not my event.
Please get something to eat. We're getting ready to get started. Hi, Dave. Good to see you, sir. Hi, Trina.
How are you, Councilmember Jackson Green?
We're making a quick announcement. Sunrise Music Festival. Make your announcement.
And you and I are going to be on the television. And I'll also say that, and then the BBC on Monday at,
Oh, I thought that's what you did. Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you.
He's gonna pray.
Oh,
Okay.
I thought we prayed. Okay.
Ready? You pray. Please make sure to get something to eat. We are going to start in about 3 to 4 minutes. Please get something to eat. We're going to start in 3 to 4 minutes. Hi, Brad.
They moved up.
Always good to see you.
Yeah, they'll move back. I brought this in case anybody want to register absentee ballots. They can also register if they happen to. So I'm just okay. I took a bite, sorry.
I want to start with a very short chapter of poems, of songs that wrote King David. It's very interesting. Why did the song of King David become such a big deal in the world today of prayers, right? We just read the poems. Why is that? Because King David was a man that went through hell most of his life. He suffered horrible things. His own son tried fighting him. His best friend's father tried to kill him. And many different stories of ups and downs in his life. And also in the spiritual world, he wasn't righteous his entire life. You could see that King David in some points of his life was more righteous and sometimes he was struggling. And that makes it that many of us could simply relate to that kind of person. If we see too much of a holy person that his life was 100% perfect, it's very hard to relate to him. But if we see someone that was down to earth, went through so much things that we went through, and still made it to become a spiritual person powerful person with all of the good things that he was able to do. We're able to relate to his prayers. And I'm going to say the shortest chapter of Psalms, otherwise it's going to take like 20 minutes. But this one's going to take literally 30 seconds. I'm going to say it in Hebrew and I'm going to translate it. Hallelu et Adonai kol goyim, shabechu kol haumim. Bless and sing for God, all of the nations, and all of the different countries. Ki gavar aleinu chasdo, ve'emet Adonai le'olam hallelujah. No matter how things look in life, at the end of the day, God's kindness wins. We see God's kindness more than we see anything else, and God's truth is always with us. So I want to say, just thank you for all of the organizers. I want to say something very powerful about what's going on today. The whole idea of being able to sit together with different opinions and have a dialogue and agree on the things we do agree, and agree to disagree and argue and not fight, but argue and try to move forward our own agendas that we disagree on, but with respect and with understanding. At the end of the day, we are all on the same boat. We can see that in unity, if I give you guys one chopstick to break, can you do it? But if I'll put 100 chopsticks together for you and I'll tell you break it down, it's gonna be hard to impossible to break it, just us, one human being breaking it down. Because unity is not necessarily when we always are the same, but it's simply that we stand together towards the things we could stand together about. So we should argue about the things we feel strongly we need to argue about. We should have a conversation and work together about the things we believe in the same agenda and we believe in the same idea. We should be able to sit together on the same table and have the dialogue and move forward things that we do agree on. So the fact that we are able to stand together with different opinions and move together one idea that we do believe in, agree to agree and agree to disagree at the same time, that's the most powerful way, and no one could ever win us, and together we always win.
Yes,
Amen.
amen.
So how we'll begin is there'll be a second mic here that if you would like to say some words, you can stand where you're at, and Ron is going to assist me. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. Now, how I want to start this is very important. The reason why this is important for us to meet and have an educational conversation is, as a city council elected official, I'm also a voting resident and constituent. So I'm not operating as the capacity of a city council elected official. I'm operating in the capacity of a constituent. So I want you to know, and that is setting the ground rules, if you understand where I'm coming from. I'm a constituent who lives in District 7, and this is an educational dinner, if you will, to have a discussion. I'm here, and so one of the things that I like about being vulnerable is that you get a chance to ask me what you would like, and as a constituent, I'm going to tell you why I believe the way I do when it comes to the 731 modified. The key word that I'm going to talk about is the word modified 731. Modified 731 versus the 10-1 system. We are in the federal judge's edict of being in a 10-1 system. I respect federal laws. I have an opinion, and so that's what this is a opinion. And until it becomes law, it's just that, an opinion. When we first start learning about the 10-1 system, it was a system that gave the idea that as an African American or a Latino or a Asian / Filipino, you would have more of a chance, keyword, you would have more of a chance to have representation under the 10-1 system. And in theory, that's correct. In theory, that's correct. But as I begin to see the internal workings of how government works by being on 2 boards, commission boards. One is I'm on the library board. I was on the library board as a constituent. 2, I was on the PIS board with Brad Martin as the chair. And, process. Thank you. And we're at a restaurant, so yeah, no, not a problem. I got you. It stands for Process Improvement Steering Committee. And on that board, we would look at processes that could be improved upon. One of the things about local government that's different from state and federal is that the local government or the local boards should be, in all intents and purposes, non-partisan. Would you guys agree to that? Should be. That's right. Should be. That's because 99% of the things that you and I talk about as being on boards and commission affect 99% of our lives equally. Okay? Non-partisan. Fast forward to the 10-1 system, which in theory, as a constituent, is correct. But as I begin to watch how government works, it works on, let's say, for instance, city council. Let's use city council as, and then I'm gonna open up for questions. Give me a chance to set my thesis, scholars. Look at city council. Look at our boards. Look at our commissions. Everything is based on either a unanimous vote or take city council. You need to have 3 council members who agree the same as you in order to get something on the agenda. But if I were just one champion on a board or on city council, and I had a difference of opinion on all of them except my opinion, would it pass? No, because you need, in city council, you need 3 to agree to get on the agenda. You need 6 to agree for certain policies or procedures to be changed. And if you do a major reconstruction or construction, you need at least a supermajority, which is 9. And so my thesis is, as a constituent, in theory, the 10-1 system, which is a federal edict that has gone down the line, and this is our voting system, in theory is correct. But in practicality, as I begin to operate in my boards and commissions and while watching council, 1 vote will not get anything passed unless you have 3 or more. Now, let me bring home, when it comes to our city charter. if you are in operation as a city, you operate according to a city charter. And again, this is my research and development from my formation of understanding the city charter. Some of you probably are more scholarly when it comes to the city charter because you've lived here longer. But I can just tell you from based on the city charter, each city has to work according to their city charter. Because that's how we decide on policies, that's how we decide on procedures, that's how we operate as a city. If that charter is out of bounds or not written correctly, then until that city charter is corrected, we are right now under a judge's word, law, edict. We're not operating according to our city charter. And I'm just talking to you as a constituent. If you run a business, you have to run a business according to how your business was constructed. So, problem number one, as a constituent, we are out of bounds. We're not balanced, we're out of balance because we're not even operating according to our city charter. Now, fast forward to me watching city council. City council should be in connection with our state legislators, delegates. That's been tumultuous at best. There has not been a strong connection between city council and our state legislators for the city of Virginia Beach. And when they tried to get, I think, the modified 731 in the city charter, that didn't happen. Or when they tried to get the 10-1 system in the city charter, that didn't happen. And I'm speaking to you as a constituent, watching and telling you, we are not operating according to our city charter. Now, if we're not operating according to our city charter and our state delegates haven't been able to accomplish the goal of putting it in the city charter so that we can operate according to a city charter, then we're out of balance as a city. Now, the reason why I object to the 10-1 system, furthering my thesis, is this. After I've done some investigation of how governments work, you need to have more representation, not less, if you are a minority. From there, I will open up questions.
I have a question. Isn't the majority of the city white already? So.
Yes.
You talked about it takes away votes from minorities, but then you're giving the votes to the majority of the city, which is white people, taken away from other minorities, and I feel like this is triggering because you said in October you supported the 10-1 system, and now all of a sudden this pack shows up and you don't. And I feel very confused.
So let me explain and answer her question. And you're speaking about me being on council as an elected official. I'll answer that even further. There are more than I've seen that are non-minorities who are part of the Democrat Party who are white. I don't understand why you would only think that it's just black. You've got white, you've got black. Even if Virginia Beach is more, and it is, according to the numbers, more white, you have a large portion of Democrats who are for the 10-1 who are white. No, I know, I'm just trying to explain that you have a large portion of white people who believe in the 10-1 system, who also believe in the 7-3-1 system. And so my response to
I
you,
don't care what party.
I'm with you then. So my response to you, when it comes to being an elected official, now I'm gonna answer you. If you are a single council member trying to push an initiative, I want you to use case in point. Use my district as a case in point. Fabulous job done by the representative who championed the cause of a rec center by herself. But because there was tension with the other city council members, they could never, and Chris, you could probably speak more to this than me, Councilman Chris Taylor, but she didn't have a consensus on city council, meaning I didn't see where she had more than herself. And so as a person who's a constituent, now I'm speaking as an elected official, you need more than just yourself.
Right, I get that. So then the city council members should listen to the constituents of that district, right?
You are right. We should listen to constituents of that district unless we have information that has been revealed to us that's behind the scenes, which my job is. So my job is to take that information and make it available to you, and that's what I'm doing here today. I would rather for you to have more representation on city council than just me. I would rather for you to have more people that believe in District 7 than just me, because I will need it to build
Like
a.
people at the oceanfront that are funding this effort.
So I would need that, I'll answer that too. You'll need that more than just by yourself. You cannot accomplish any goals as a single voting member in city council. You have to have 3 or more. So the 10-1 system in theory sounds good, but it produces isolation. I will answer your second point. When it comes to who's funding this, right? These are my ideals, and if people happen to get behind me and they align with my interests after further information, I mean, that's politics. And they do it wherever you go. I still represent the people, but if they align with what I believe and how I've come to understand that, I'm gonna let you guys know. The 10-1 system in theory puts in where you can get things accomplished on your own. You cannot. Matter of fact, we have more minorities in Virginia Beach now who should be thinking about running at large. You've got the money, you've got the backing. Oh, you don't? That's just my thought as a constituent.
Okay, so my question is, you said that our legislative team from here in Virginia Beach, as in our senators and delegates, were not in on this, like they didn't want this to be part of the city charter. That's a fallacy, that's a lie.
I didn't say that. I said that they couldn't get it accomplished in the city charter.
No, they couldn't get it accomplished because the governor that we have currently vetoed it. They voted, our representatives for this city voted. And I am a District 7 member. I am a constituent. I vote in this district. And when I spoke to you about this after the vote, you lied to me in my face. You said that you knew that we had enough votes for the 10-1, and that's why you said yes on the referendum. Don't lie to me in my face and then come in here and try to kowtow to the rest of the folks and act like this is not what you planned on doing from the beginning. Be for real.
I only can be for real. My answers are only my answers.
Oh,
If I have further information, you would want somebody to share that information with you. I'm sorry, education is supposed to do what? Propel you to go forward. If the information I had as a constituent has changed with me being on city council, then that is a good thing. And I'm sharing that with you now. I'm telling you, as a constituent, I had one understanding. The further I got into city council, I've been on city council 8 months. I now know more. And listen, I'm gonna tell you, 731 is the only way we can get things accomplished.
I asked you to contact me. You have my email address, my cell phone number, and if you needed it, I can give you my address. Don't do that.
Don't do what?
Do not
Don't
play
evolve?
games and do not play games and try to sit up here and act like we didn't have this conversation.
If we have this conversation, I'm saying to you, it's okay. The more information I got, the better it is for you, so I can get this information back to you. I'm telling you what I know. As a council member, now you want me to speak as a council member. One council member cannot accomplish anything without 3 or more votes.
And so doing 731 is gonna change that?
Well, it'll give me a better shot at achieving our goals of building a rec center. It'll give me a better shot at achieving a goal of having a public library. It'll give me a better shot of having more of a police presence.
And you think the North End gives a shit about the Western part?
Excuse me, hold. Excuse me, we don't keep,
Excuse my tone.
okay.
They take care about the
Excuse me, ma'am.
people on the Western End.
Okay, hold on, ma'am, let me set some ground rules here. As the sergeant, I'm just trying to make sure we go in decency and order. We don't have to, we can agree to disagree, but for as cussing and using profanity toward us,
Please
that's,
excuse my profanity.
okay,
As I
it's
said,
accepted, but we don't have to yell and scream this. Yeah, let's
I'm
say.
not yelling or screaming, I talk loud. Please forgive me.
Passionate. She passionate. Passionate.
Okay.
Councilman Green, thank you for hosting this event tonight. And you're right, we're the only 2 here that have been privy to private closed session meetings.
Oh,
I'm
close
gonna
session.
clean up a little bit on what you said about the 3 people needing to vote, and I'm reading directly from the court's papers. I think context is important here. The city's, on August 15, 2023, the city council voted 10-1 to adopt a 10-1 system. Barbara Henley was the only one that voted against that. So we were unanimous within a 10-1 that we were gonna move in that direction because we committed to the plaintiff and the court that we would do that. So that's a fact. In the 10-1, we had almost unanimous outside of Mrs. Councilwoman Henry. Then this happened. So what Cash is talking about, the benefits of a 731 is you need friends. Well, we don't get elected to go down to city council to be friends with people. We get elected to represent the citizens, and we all take an oath to the entire city, not to a district. And you know, when you took your oath in January, you didn't take an oath to District 7. You took an oath to the entire city, even though you were a district councilman. Is that accurate?
That's correct.
The city council communicates legislative requests and policy positions to Virginia General Assembly to be considered during the General Assembly session through the city council's annual General Assembly legislative agenda. Prior to the most diverse council being elected, which was in 2022, there was a policy where any council member, including your predecessor, could put an item on the agenda. I recall very early on, and it is an opinion as a constituent that the former councilwoman couldn't get along with it. However, Mayor Dyer and Vice Mayor Wilson, to combat and try to mitigate the attitude and the challenges Councilwoman Wooten was exhibiting. I'm speaking from the standpoint of, not my opinion, I'm just telling you what happened. You don't have to agree with it. And the court documents it.
Excuse me, we can sing together, but we can't talk together. Let's respect each other. Let's respect and be accountable to one another. If someone is giving an opinion or something, respect that opinion, either to disagree or not. Let's keep it, you know.
Again, this is not hearsay. Exactly what happened. Mayor Dyer and Vice Mayor Wilson called several of the new council members in and proposed what I'm getting ready to read from the court documents. Prior to September 19, 2023, the city council had no policy in place that governed placing items on the city's legislative agenda. As a result, before that date, any council member could propose an item to be added to the legislative agenda, and any item, including requests for changes to the city charter, could be approved with a simple majority of 6 votes. On September 6, 2023, the city represented to the court in a notice that it would likely be pursuing a charter change regarding the 10-1 system in an upcoming 2023 legislative agenda. What you left out was in February, myself, Councilwoman Rouse, and Councilwoman Sabrina Wooten, who is not here, Pastor, called a special session because we discovered that the legislative director, outside of her purview, outside of the support of Patrick Duhaney, had gone and communicated that the current council, she wasn't sure if they were supportive. That was out of bounds. I'm going to continue. On September 19th, 2023, City Council changed the legislative agenda process and adoption requirements to make it harder for council members to request and approve a charter change. The council did this by increasing the threshold necessary to 1, place items on the legislative agenda, and 2, approve a charter change request. So there were things going on that the public in this room couldn't see. Now here, to Pastor's point, I'm going to quote number 142. The request for the ordinance setting a policy for the city's legislative agenda came from Mayor Bobby Dyer and Councilmember Rosemary Wilson. This is on page 29, if anyone wants to go, and this is not my words. Councilmember Barbara Henley, Jennifer Rouse, Chris Taylor, and Sabrina Wooten voted against the change to the process. Councilwoman Wooten remarked that I remember the process we had before, never had any indication that it was problematic. Again, you didn't know, but I was called to the side and said, we need to put up some guardrails. I didn't agree with it. That's what the court says. There were 4 of us that said, even if Ms. Councilwoman Wooten has an attitude every week, that has nothing to do with her being an elected official and have the right to put something on. Attitude don't got nothing to do with it. Personality doesn't have anything to do with it. All right, I'm going to continue reading and pass the mic on. Before adopting the ordinance setting a policy for city's legislative agenda, city staff surveyed other localities, including Hampton, Norfolk, and Chesapeake City. Staff found that none of these localities had a policy in place for approving legislative agendas. So this was a coordinated effort to diminish the ability for minority council members, not minority in race, but those that didn't agree with the majority, which happens in business, in church, and in our homes. You don't banish them from saying something at the dinner table because they have an attitude. And that's what we did. So to your point, yes, you need 3 to get it on the agenda, but it's a result of our current leadership. And there was 4 of us that said, and I'll quote, Councilmember Taylor said, why don't we just do it the way we've been doing it? So we're here because a rogue staff member who got terminated or let go chose to do something she wasn't authorized to do. And as a result, that led to concerns in the General Assembly, which were invalid. And then politics, Cash is right for his constituents here, politics plays a role in everything that happens down there. And so now you have to be politically correct, get along to go along. And unfortunately, that's not why we run. That's not why we're elected. And to your point, one person can get something done, but it's very difficult. And a 10-1, if your constituents sitting over here come to you with an issue, you should be able to take it to 3 people: the mayor, the city manager, the professional staff, and whether anybody else agrees, I would hope they would respect the citizens' voice. Thank you.
So I'm going to go first because my daughter wants to ask a question second. So I have to thank former Councilman Chris Taylor for cleaning up the record, because that's exactly what happened. The city did not want Councilwoman Wooten to do what she always did, and that was to speak up. So they changed it that you had to have 3 people to get anything on the legislative agenda. But the couple of questions that I have, I guess I was pretty smart in school, did pretty well in math, and I guess when I look at the 11 members on council, most of the decisions require 6 votes. 6 votes. So in a 10-1 system, when you have 10 districts, all representing their districts, they're all working together. They have to coordinate with each other to make sure that they can get 6 votes. But a funny thing about this 7-3-1 or modified 7-3-1 system, what I don't understand is this, and it goes back to what my sister said about who's supporting this effort to go against 10-1. The last time I checked that, nearly half of the people supporting this effort, and I'm not just talking about with some change, I'm talking about with a lot of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Most of them are developers. They don't live off of Northampton. They don't live in Bayside. They're down at the beach. And so when I look at this modified 7-3-1 system, I can count to 6. So the mayor is bought. 3 would be bought. So that's 4 votes already owned by the folks who, the moneyed interest at the beach. So that's 4 votes already. So now we have 7 votes left. Okay, 7 votes left. All you need is 2. And you got 6 votes. So how in the world do you expect African Americans, Spanish, Filipino Americans, how do you expect marginalized communities that have been put on the back burner for generations? You know the history of what happened in Northampton with water and sewer and how long it took to make that happen. That's what happened under the old system. And we're going to go back to that? I don't understand why anybody would do that. And so my question is, first I want to thank you for holding this. But I want to make sure that, because I haven't heard you say that you are currently a defendant, you are, as well as the rest of the city council, as well as the city manager and the head of election. You guys are a defendant in a court case right now about this. And so my question is, how much have we already spent trying to go backwards? And how much more do you think we're going to spend going forward if you get your way with 7-3-1? Because 7-3-1, as you know, I wasn't in the closed session last Tuesday, but I'm sure you were there. You saw what the plaintiffs gave you on August 7th. You're going to be in court again. So why don't you be straight with the people here and tell them how much have we spent? And again, this is not your money, this is our money. This is taxpayer money that you're spending. All for folks at the beach, moneyed interests at the beach, who want to see the old system continue. That's my question.
So for the exact answer, I'll have my legislative aide, EJ. For those who will give me your contact we will email that to you because I want to make sure we are correct in dollars and cents. I don't have that number in my head unless someone can find it. But I would rather do it that way. PJ, that my legislative assistant, PJ, she will email that to you. That's number one. Number two, I do want to say something. The term is modified. And this is why I wanted to have this educational dinner. It isn't going back to, it's modified. I know that you don't like that word. I get it. We're just having a conversation. Everyone that's in this room, let me just say my key points about everyone that's in this room. Everyone in this room I've had conversations with, and there is nothing about you that makes me say, I don't like that person. Everyone in this room I respect, first and foremost. Let me just start that way. It's only this issue that makes us have this conflict. But I don't, and if it's important to you, it's important to me, but I have further information. This is why I'm having this meeting. On getting projects completed, we're gonna need how they have it structured. Council has no choice but to get along. Because right now, that's how it's written. Now, if in November it's on the ballot and 10-1 becomes the dominant choice of customers or constituents, then we still have to present that to Richmond. My point being is, we still have to have a city charter that's intact. That's what I'm saying to you. As a city, you are on boards and commissions. We have to operate correctly. Right now, we are operating by a judge's edict, which I respect the federal judge. Listen, someone asked me that the other day. I respect the law. What I say to you is, as a constituent, I can tell you it's not working that way behind the scenes. You are going to need help from other council members. Even if you go in, guns blaze, and you have a difference of opinion, you won't get anything accomplished on city council. Ultimately, you won't get anything accomplished for your community. So listen, how have I, the way that I believe for the modified 731, how have I been involved? Well, this past weekend, I was at the Sportsplex with our youth tackle football and girls flag football. I would like to see more of you come out there with me. This is called the EF Classic. I was there supporting African American elementary school kids, middle and high school, because that's where I played Pop Warner when I was younger. So just because I believe in the modified 731 doesn't mean I can't represent African Americans or minorities. No one tells me how my heart should be led. Yes, question.
I'm Rita Cullen, the best, but forgive me if I'm wrong, but didn't the court say that the modified X31 would be worse for African Americans and marginalized communities than the old 731 system?
Thank you for that question. It's a very intelligent question. We have yet to see, because it hasn't been activated yet. Listen, it's a wonderful question. What I would say to you is that we still need to do some more research to see if that plays out to be the case. But that's a very good question. I don't have the answer to that.
The reason she asked the question, again, if you go back to what Chris is read the court case that you read.
Yes, I have.
Grossman, who the city and the plaintiffs agreed to use for all the matters, has said
So now, I didn't say that.
Right.
I'm saying what this expert said.
And I can't fight that expert because he's an expert. All I can tell you is that we have yet to see the results of it because, I mean, all I can say is, sir, thank you for that. We have yet to see that. And I respect that opinion because it came from an expert. I'm here I'm giving you my op-ed, okay? Please capture that on a word. I'm giving you my op-ed. It's my opinion. I'm not an expert. I am just giving you what I've seen being in the trenches, behind the scenes, behind closed doors. I don't want to be at odds against anyone that's in this room. I have commented or I look at your social media. I never pass you up and go, I don't like that person. Everyone in this room I like. It's true. And if you don't think I like you, come and hang out with me on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm doing a senior initiative. Let me give you this. Remember, I believe in the modified 7-3 system since I've got more information. I'm at the senior facility centers on Auburn Drive. I would love to see some of you with me. Me believing in the modified 731 doesn't stop me from doing my initiatives. We're at the Sands, where they live off of the lowest form that you can get when it comes to living. Most of them are barely making it, where I've had to adopt a food pantry called Reset Inc. to make sure they have enough food to eat. That's called the Sands. Please, I welcome you. No one is stopping me from taking care of Black and brown communities or my seniors. If you don't believe me, watch my social media. I've got over 500 seniors who need our help. So I'm still about the business of my initiatives. I will be September 2nd, mark your calendars, I will be at Jamestown Common, which is another predominantly African-American senior community center. I will be there making sure with the federal cuts that are happening that the seniors are still eating. So no one is stopping my initiatives. No one has power over that. It just so happens that I have done some research and we need some people to vote for us at large. I'm gonna need some help. Now listen to what I'm saying, just hear me out. And then Ms. Trina wants to say, District 7, which is College Park, Tallwood High, Salem High, in the surrounding communities, we're in need of a recreation center. And how council has it written in a policy that the only way I can get that accomplished is by a supermajority. Do you understand? It costs $40 to $60 million. So let me tell you what I did when I first got in office. I'm telling them, I sat down and I said, listen, I'm so grateful I ran on these initiatives, getting a rec center for District 7. They said, but that's not in the budget, number one. Number two, it's not even on the CIP. And everyone else around the table said, well, we have stuff we need to do in our district. And so it's been, every council member is fighting for things in their district. So I have to use business savvy. I've got to get along at certain times in order to get certain things. I mean, that's how it's designed. So yes, the 10-1 system in theory is the right system. Listen, you heard me say it. In theory. But in practicality, it doesn't work itself out to an advantage for me. And for you, constituents. Okay, question?
Good evening. So, I have really good vision, but I have better hearing. And when I'm listening to you, I'm really hearing a duplicitous and disingenuous argument that's representing to the audience. And you're talking around onto different issues. You're making your personal advocacy your North Star on how you view these issues. But the reality is that there has been a quantitative and a qualitative and a judicial evaluation of the City of Virginia's voting system. The federal judge said that the old system was a violation of Voting Rights Act 10-1 remedied that, okay? Then the city conducted testimony when they hired a consulting firm to come down here. The citizens overwhelmingly said they supported 10-1, okay? That was the qualitative component. The quantitative component was they conducted a poll. That poll came back 80%. 80% of the citizens of the city of Virginia said, left, right, and center, that they supported 10-1. Then you brought up the legislative fix for the charter change. Bipartisan support in both chambers of the House and the Senate supported the charter change. It was vetoed. And then a lawsuit was filed, okay, at the state level to counteract the federal decision. I've never known of how a state court supersedes federal law, okay? I agree with Mr. McCollum here that with the mayor and the 3 at-large seats, with the funding of the developers, that would create a block of 4 votes. So whoever supports development, concentration of wealth at the oceanfront, they ultimately would have 4 votes off gate. Then we don't know how the remaining 7 districts will be redistricted. Like, for example, what if your district is drawn into District 10 and you have to run against Jennifer Rouse, or is drawn into District 4 and you got to run against Amelia Ross Penny? Okay, somebody's not going to be on the city council anymore. Okay, I think what you need to understand is that the citizens of this city are far more enlightened, far more savvy, and far more aware. And I think it's really a stretch for you intellectually to support a position. You ran in the 10-1 system. And now you're saying that the system that you were elected in, that you currently represent, does not work because people can't get along. Well, it's about building consensus. It's about being an advocate. You're a salesperson. You build a case of support. Okay? If you build a case of support, people say, you know what? That's a good issue. I will support that. Okay? The civil rights community does not support 731. The majority of the citizens have already weighed in judicially, quantitatively, and qualitatively. They'll support 731. Okay? And I would imagine if we ask for a show of hands, how many people in this event that's saying vote no against 10-1, we probably would say the majority of people will support 10-1. So I think you are out of step with your constituents on this issue. Okay? You're out of step with the community on this issue. And we are under any illusions as to what is the ultimate motivation of this effort is, which is to concentrate wealth and power with the elites at the oceanfront at the disadvantage of the city as a whole.
Thank you for your response. I would like to reply to it. You said the word duplicity. I call it evolution. The more that I have information, when I started running for office, I had the same information that you had. But I've been privy to behind the scenes. I've been privy to some things. And my job as a representative is to bring that information forward to you. This is why this meeting is important. I'm telling you, no one is going to stop me from taking care of the Black and brown community. I'm doing it right now. 731 doesn't prevent me from caring about Black people. It is the modified 731. And so I don't understand if you're saying that If we have a 10-1 system, then that gives us a better chance. I said to you, in theory, you are correct. I'm not fighting you there. In theory. Because
Excuse me. Hold. Listen. No. You had your opportunity. No, you cannot go. We can sing together, but we cannot talk together. It's his platform. You have to wait.
Okay, we got your point.
if I say in theory, that's not a duplicity, sir. Anyone can have a theory. It's until you put it in practicality that it becomes an actuality of an efficiency of evidence. You need evidence, sir. And so what I'm saying to you is, in theory, the 10-1 system is correct. You will not get a fight from me there. However, you will, after 8 months of being on city council, I'll tell you I need more friends than one.
Okay. So, when we were talking about 10-1, when the study was conducted, it showed more than 80% of the citizens of Virginia Beach want 10-1.
80% of the poll was wrong. Not 80% of the poll.
Well, this was a study they
You can't cut
conducted.
in, let
Now,
her
you
talk.
didn't answer the poll, that's you. Okay? But when they
Yeah, let her
sampled
talk.
the city of Virginia Beach, and they did it more than one way, they held town halls. I went to every single district town hall meeting. And this is not about race. This is about right and wrong and treating people the right way. Every single meeting I went to, white, black, young, old, rich, not so rich, almost to the one, every single person wanted 10-1. And so when the city council took their vote, and I was there, and I saw the ugliness that played out when there were some comments from you for the from the guests. So I did have a conversation with you because I needed to understand what in the world was going on. And we had that conversation, probably talked about 45 minutes, almost an hour, because I did not, I wanted to make sure I'm still where you were coming from. And my concern, as I stated with you before, is that it seems like the money people, the developers, those are the people that seem to be running things. And when 10-1 came into fruition, I think there's some things that got sidelined because certain people are used to running the city of Virginia Beach. But for the people who are sitting here who understand that we have a developer who developed who redid the Cabinet Hotel, and the city gave him $18 million of my money to help him do it. And then he came back and asked for some more money because he didn't have enough money to finish doing what he really wanted to do. Whereas he's already a multimillionaire, why didn't he just get some investors? Then they gave him some more of my money. Then he came back and said, you know what? I want them to dead end Atlantic Avenue, the main two streets in the oceanfront. And VDOT from Richmond said, nah, I think that's a good idea. City Council gave him what he wanted and dead ended the main drag in the city of Virginia Beach. So we're talking about power and influence and certain people getting to do what they want to do. As a person who grew up off the old Great Neck Road and we couldn't even get our streets paved, we had dirt roads just a few blocks off Virginia Beach Boulevard. Houses that really couldn't even get our streets paved until the late 1990s. And so when you told me, well, we need developers, and I said, to what extent? And then you told me you got a developer. And you asked me what was the name of the development company that I had, and I said, I don't have one, and you said, exactly. So I'm saying the people in your area, you got this very diverse community, and you're saying, well, you handed out Christmas trees, okay, and you want NAACP to come help you hand out those Christmas trees, and they did not do it. Then you did turkeys, and you're doing various things other places. From my point of view, what I'm saying is someone who has other things on his agenda, maybe moving up, whatever. So you are apparently serving your community, and you are showing your face everywhere that you think it ought to be shown. But in the end, when we go to do something else, maybe you go into higher office, I don't know. but your face will be out there and they'll go, yeah, that's Cash Green. He gave us Christmas trees, he gave us turkeys, and we gave up our right to representation for some turkeys and Christmas trees and what have you. So to me, if your constituents that you knocked on the door for to get elected, that you told them that, as you told me, I'm not telling a lie, that you told folks that you knocked on their door, you said you're a conservative, that's irrelevant too, we're talking about 10-1. But if you told folks that, if you voted for Kamala Harris, that's okay. Well, you know, I told you at the time that was disingenuous because we had Will Sessions pose on Barack Obama in a flyer. And their campaign got in trouble for that. And it made people seem like he was in favor of Barack Obama, and I think it did affect the election. So what I'm saying to you is you need to own up to who you are. Don't have that very diverse community who the next time you run is gonna go, they're not gonna look at hard, they're gonna go, oh yeah, I remember that face. And then you're gonna go and vote against what your constituents want. I do believe over in Windsor Woods, Princeton Plaza area, all the flooding issues that they had, you cannot tell me that the entirety of city council did not realize that's an issue for the city of Virginia Beach. These people are losing their homes, they're suffering. So guess what? City council did something about that. And they're working on all the drainage issues and everything else that we need. So for me, I find you very disingenuous in what you are talking about. 731, okay, so you got 7 districts, then you got 3 at large. Well, the Voting Rights Act has already decided that at large voting disenfranchises minority votes. And I don't think, you said, well, you need friends. Well, just present the policy. And I think folks of good faith and good favor, they know that it's just their district. So you can build coalitions with all kinds of different people. But I think it's disingenuous to think that the 3 at large are not going to be funded by the developers and the well-heeled folks. Okay, so I do think that citizens of City of Virginia Beach are coming around and they realize they are not an island. And 10-1 gives all districts a seat at the table. Because I know the people at the oceanfront have no clue what's going on off of Old Great Neck River. I know the people at Bayside, they may not know what's going on in Thurgood. They don't know what they need. But my representative should be accountable. And you can't serve 2 masters. So you're going to serve the developers, or you're going to serve the people of your community and be genuine in what your objective is. And I don't think your objective is, I think that this city council, in my humble opinion, is just a stepping stone to where you want to get to. And you want that name and face recognition so you can continue fooling your constituents about what you're all about. So if you're a conservative, if you feel a certain way, then go ahead and say that. But don't go to your constituents and glad hand and make people think, yeah, he's with us. And then you got to vote no to disenfranchise them and take us back. We just got a seat at the table. And it's not about the person that you elect being white or black, but that person needs, if they want to be reelected again, they got to represent their area. And your area wants 10-1. So to stand here and go, well, I think, don't care what you think. You work for us. You work for us. So do what you're supposed to do for your constituents and decide who it is you're serving.
I would like to reply. Just let me reply to her about being disingenuous. When I started campaigning, I went to everyone. And I've only been true to myself. And let me explain. The only way that I could be true to myself was to be what I'm doing now. I'm before you. You have every opportunity to take a shot at me. I'm willing to listen because I love you. We may not agree on this issue, but I think we agree probably on 99% of everything else. So listen, as one of your own, you've elected me to get the information, to be savvy, and to fight in a way that puts you ahead. Well, I'm coming to you today to say this. This is my information. I respect you. I do respect you. And this won't change my respect for you. And so I would love for you to come with me to some of my events to see what I do. I'm the same person I am today as when I'm out there like I was this past weekend with the kids at the sportsplex who needed us, you in this room, as a support. No one has taken that away from me. This can, nobody can. And the reason why I ran, let me tell you why I ran. If there was a nonpartisan box to be checked, I would have checked it. But apparently, local government becomes very political when you're running for office. And you know, everybody has kicked me out. Republicans kicked me out, Democrats kicked me out. So the best way that I could be myself was to grab onto sports. I grabbed onto Joe Smith, NBA legend, as a way for me to go into SeaTech Community Church, the New Life, New Jerusalem Church. And the pastor, Pastor Thorogood, was wonderful to me. And I said, Pastor Thorogood, I just want to explain my heart to you. But it took Joe Smith to get in the door. God, listen. I love that. No, I'm just telling you what I felt like I had to do because I was ducking and diving. But because it took Joe Smith for people to hear my heart. Because people thought what you're thinking, I'm ingenuous. And that's could be furthest from the truth, man. Nobody goes with me. I go by myself. I have strategically put a playbook together to be able to win your heart. And you know how I've been doing it? Through Joe Smith, NBA legend, sports. I've been doing it through sports to show up at places that you normally wouldn't welcome me. I'm just telling you how it's been for me. And then I'm doing it through music to be able to bring our community together. Now, let me just say this. I respect you. Give me a chance. Just give me a chance.
We got to do the once we're going here, we're going there, and then we're going to grad, and then we're going to grad. You already did one shot. We're going to come back to it. Oh, I got to get you up there. I got to stop. I got you.
We haven't fun yet, Cash?
We are.
All right, so I met you by accident at the Bliss meeting, you might recall, and I liked you. I was suspect of you, but I liked you. You're a nice man. I believe that you really do want good things for your constituents, especially the youth. You're in a room with a lot of people with a lot of wealth, with knowledge about voting rights and fighting the fight and knowing who's players and who's not. So this is my opinion as one that studied local politics since the year 2000, and I only get away a block away from the Cavaliers since that time. If that tells you anything, it probably doesn't. But I know who the players are in this town, and they're all attached to that PAC money and persuasion of you. They are buying you. They are going to own you for the rest of your life. You will know that you did not do what your heart told you to do, but rather what business told you to do. You're working a deal here. You're playing the odds. You're thinking it's going to move you forward, just like Amelia Ross Hammond's waiting for that black fish you can see. So they will own you. They already have. They get the support you going in. You're online. You're showing. I think you're real. I think you really care about these people.
I really, really do think you care and you want to make a difference in the lives of the youth of Virginia Beach. But you're gonna sell your soul to do it and keep on going down this path. You've only been on council 8 months and you think you know it, everything? I've been watching it, interacting with it for 25 years. I see you make good news on the dais when they're talking about stuff that you are not in on. And then all of a sudden you shift because somebody fills you in. Probably Stacy. There's all kinds of backdoor pressure on you. I know that. There's not a doubt in my mind that you're called on the carpet for saying the right thing or the wrong thing by people that sit in the same table as you do. So, I wish you the best. And God will prevail on all of this. But I think you could be bigger, which I think you're playing small if you're going to count on these trucks.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to say that I truly respect you. And I've liked you, will continue to like you. And if I could, I would love to be in agreement with everything everyone here is saying. When I first started thinking about when I first started thinking about politics, I came to you, Pastor, and I started in the church, the house of God. I started with you. Just trying to understand the dynamics. I really did. And here I am now again. So all I can say is that I understand it may look one way. And through sports and music, I'm trying to find my way in this well-trodden political path that I was never accustomed to. This is my wife's hometown, and this became my hometown in 2015. I fell in love with the people. I called Virginia Beach my home, and I love everybody here. But I wasn't accustomed, like you said, I wasn't accustomed to the political things that have gone on for years in Virginia. You're correct, in Virginia Beach. And so I didn't know that I couldn't talk to certain people. And I want to keep it that way. If you allow me, please, if you allow me, just let me get a chance to know you. And what if? Just hear me out. Before you speak, thank you. What if we disagree on this? Do you throw me out? Do you throw the baby out with the bathwater too? That's all it takes is one? Okay. Well, thank you for speaking.
Okay. As a resident of District 7, one thing I noticed that you focus more on rec centers and libraries. Now, those are very important to the community, I agree. But we just got a refurbishing of the rec center in Kempsville. It's a vanity project. What are you doing about the people who are losing their homes? What are you doing about people who are going hungry? This country is burning right now. And you're talking about rec centers. That's vain. And that's sports and music, those are all wonderful things. But at the end of the day, we need things that are very important. We need shelter. We need food. Okay. The water, we have water all in our streets. I almost ruined my car. So what are you doing about things like that? Those are quality of life issues.
Thank you. Could I answer? So when they made federal cuts for food, I adopted Reset Inc. to ensure that District 7 would still eat when they made cuts. And so District 7 and Virginia Beach and anyone who in Tidewater who needs food will be fed with the amount of resources that we have at Reset Inc. And so I want to tell you that I understand. The second thing is I just got elected to the Virginia's state board for so that we can develop our jobs. So that we can develop our jobs. I just got elected on the board for economic development for our jobs, right? Just got elected. So when there are cuts happening, I want to make sure that here in Virginia Beach, here as well as Virginia, we have jobs for truck drivers. That's where I capitalize on. Pipe fitters, steel workers, career jobs, technical jobs. My background is technical. And so that's important to me. So being on this board, we're going to be able to shift some things to make sure we stay employed. You talked about streets, making sure that flooding. I'm in connection with LJ Hansen Public Works. And we are, as we get ready to open up Level Green Park, reimagined parks, we are trying to put in speed bumps around the U to make sure that we can curb violence. When it comes to flooding, it's been my ambition for years, for the past 2 years, making sure that they maintain cleaning out the gutters and making sure. Listen, I'm with you. And what I'm learning too when it comes to city government, just like I called them and said, hey, I need you guys to cut the grass in College Park because Star called me and said, hey, we need the grass cut. I called them and they said it's on a 45-day window, a cycle. So all I can tell you is that if you tell me to do something as your representative, I'm willing to do it ASAP. And I will call again about the streets flooding. Okay.
That's what Tim wants for. That's what we're for.
Councilman, thank you so much for providing the opportunity for this forum. Let me apologize to you for interrupting you. I'm sorry. You said that there was the survey. And it was 1,600 responses, and it was 82%, I think, in favor of the 10-1 system. And I agree with Gary that it was statistically relevant. But in the same survey, 64% of those same respondents said they favored a referendum. So, to me, first of all, it's a survey of 1,600 residents. That's not the city of Virginia Beach, and that's not how we do politics and voting in elections here. So, it's a fair point, but that's not it. Cash, I'm not ready to sign off on the fact that 3 at-large council members would be owned by the money developers or anything like that, or the mayor as well. I want to think about a case that did happen, which was the silo development down in the Pungo area. And in that vote for that residential development, which that district representative was against, Councilwoman Henry was against that project, she ended up being on the losing end of that vote. I think it was 9-2. You probably remember better than me. And I watched those residents, and I'm talking about representation now, and having our voice as voters be represented on council. All of those members of her district, all of those voters in her district who came out to speak against that project, I watched them walk out of that room knowing that there was nothing they could do because they had 1 vote on council and 1 vote for the mayor. And their council representative did what they wanted her to do. But the other 9 members of city council did not. And those voters did not have a thing to say or a way to vote their demands and to vote their wishes. And they didn't have anything to do with that vote, and they couldn't do anything about it. So that's a real example where the people of a district were not represented, even though they may have chosen Ms. Henley, they may not have chosen Ms. Henley, but they agreed with Ms. Henley, and she got outvoted. So that's a real example that I hope we think about. And as we go forward, I really like my friend Gary here. He and I used to live in the Bayside District, and his daughter too. You are lucky that he is bringing you stuff like this, and that he does all the stuff that he does. But I would hope that if we were still in the Bayside District, and if Gary decided not to vote for me and I was wrong, that he would vote for me because he thinks we have policy differences, not because of the unfortunate color of my skin.
Thank you. Thank you. We're going to be closing. There's a couple more people. 7:30. We're going to be wrapping up shortly. I'm ready.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Let me first introduce myself. I am Dr. James Allen. I'm the pastor of the Rehoboth Baptist Church. I'm a former college educator. So when I hear Brother Green say that this is educational, I look for there to be some educational information as well as your opinion. And one of the things that I'd like to say is really quickly, when you say that 10-1 system works in theory, but it has not worked in practicality, that's your opinion, sir. It has worked in theory. We have been under 2 election cycles under it, and what has resulted in that, we've had 4 minorities on city council at the same time. So it does work. Now, as a pastor, I don't get to go to my church and just tell them we're going to do this and we're going to do that. As a pastor, I have to build coalitions with my people in the church so that they will get behind the visions and things that I want to do. And as a city council person, when I hear you say you only got one person, she only had one person. She did not do a good job of building coalitions with other people. And you're telling me the same thing that you're not able to do, which tells me that maybe District 7 needs another coalition builder. Now, the way you do that, one of the reasons why Ms. Henry didn't do this, because she has been so counterproductive to everything African American have brought to city council. Now, let's take a minute to talk about what happened under city council in the previous 731 districts. In the previous 731 district, we had a city manager who thought so lowly of black people that we had to call him to the carpet in front of a bunch of ministers. And he was so obtuse and so blocked in the head, and he came and had the nerve to assault us in our face. And when we got on him about it, 2 weeks later he resigned. Under the old 731 district, let me write my notes. Let me grab my notes right here. There was only one African American on city council and one Filipino, and have been that way since I've been in Virginia Beach. I don't live in Virginia Beach right now. Let me clarify that. I pastor in Virginia Beach. I went to New Hope Baptist Church for 20 years before I started pastoring at New Hope. So I've been doing my work in Virginia Beach. When you talk about you don't understand how 731 hurts your constituents, the young lady here gave you the lowdown. The gentleman came and asked for $140 million of the city's money, and they wrote him a check under the 731 system. $140 million could have been a whole bunch to get Windsor Woods and all those places fixed up 15 years ago. Okay? Under the 731 system, and please have your assistant double check my numbers because I'm pulling this out of my mind and I might be wrong. When you were running at-large in the city of Virginia Beach for a city council seat, you had to spend over $100,000 to get a city council seat at large. Who has $100,000 that's a minority person that can run at large and get elected? Until we went to 10-1, we had one person, and she got her money from the big money people when she was bought and paid for. Now let's be real in here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about it the way it really is. Now, when we go to the 10-1 system, nowadays, a person can run for city council and can run for city council on $40,000. And came within 200 votes of beating a person who had a bankroll of over $1 million. So when you're sitting here saying that you love us and that you want to do for us and you care for black people, understand that we're educated black people. You've been listening to this job for a long time. And if you want to show me that you love me, then you need to vote for 10-1 system. Because we cannot have a system in place for those little kids that you're out there trying to shape their minds and get everything squared away, because if my grandkids come over to the house and say, Mr. Green was out at the football club, I said, that's very good, I'm glad you did that. But we ain't gonna vote for it, and this is why. See, I'm not gonna have my kids grow up stupid because you did them a football. My kids can go to the church and get the Christmas tree. I passed out over 200 Thanksgiving turkeys last year, and this year I'm online to do 1,000. And I ain't running for nothing. So I'm trying to get you to understand something. So when you sit here and talk about the 10-1 theory works in theory, that's your opinion, sir. The truth of the matter is it works. It has been proven to work. When you say that you only got one friend on council, as good as you are a communicator with your son, you trying to tell me you can't build a coalition to get 3 people to get your stuff on the agenda? I can understand it may not pass because getting 6 people on council to do things is not as easy as getting it on the agenda. But you can't get 3 people on the city council to back your agenda. But something is wrong with the way you're doing business. And I would suggest that we get somebody else to handle your job.
Yeah.
So I just want to respond to what you're saying, Pastor. First of all, I would love to be invited to come to your church. I may need God. What I'm saying is I'd like to know you beside this issue. I've seen you online, I've seen your church, and I respect you. Pastor, I know who you are. Second of all, I'm listening to you. I hear you, Pastor. I respect you. You are my elder. I'm listening. Thank you, Pastor. On the count, no, I can get 3 votes. I can get that. That's not a problem. But what I've seen on council, and this is what I said about the new structure that Councilman Chris Taylor wrote about, it's a little different. You have to be strategic to get stuff done.
How you gonna be strategic with 7-1 when 7 of those votes are going to be paid for by people who pay for those elections?
I hear you. I'm listening. So what I'm saying is, as 8 months being in, I'm gonna tell you, you have to strike at the right time. You have to build a coalition, and then you have to strike at the right time. And that's what I'm doing. Now, I'm African American from the bone. And born and raised in San Diego, my grandmother, my grandfather, I'm African. No one can take that away from me. And so I go where I need to go. Listen, I'll just say this, just watch me. Look at what I do. Don't hear me. But I would love your support too. So because we don't agree on this, now listen, you said listen to this, and I'm gonna take everything you guys are saying, and I am going to research more. Could I do? Okay, thank you. Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Councilmember, thank you so much for having this forum tonight. My name is Trina, and I am African American, clearly, and I praise the Lord for that. I want to thank you for what you're doing for this community. I can't imagine walking in your shoes. I am praying for you, my husband is praying for you, and we bless you. And I just want to say, I'm still researching this information about the 10-1 and the 3 and 7. Okay, I don't quite understand it all, but I am an educated woman and I will do more research. But I have to say that this gentleman right here has kept his word to me personally. And I want to thank you publicly for keeping your word to me. I run a Christian music festival. I'm a Christian. It is a gospel Christian music festival held at the Virginia Beach Ocean Front that has been going on since 2014. And it has been a challenge as a Black woman to get support for this event that takes place at the Virginia Beach, where thousands of young people have given their lives to Christ. To God be the glory. And it was in a position where it was not going to be coming back. And Councilmember Jackson Green, Councilmember Chris Taylor, and Councilwoman Wooten went to bat for me. And I thank you so much. I am in District 7,
and I thank you so much for your support. I just can only speak for me. I thank you and I bless you, and I'm going to keep praying for you and your lovely wife and your family. Thank you.
You guys still done in there 10-1, right?
Yes, Pastor. Yes, Pastor.
Angela. All right, so,
Yes.
I am not from Virginia, but the elderly people, Virginia Beach, the elderly people in my family and friends sent me here to ask you questions.
Yes.
So they don't really quite understand, but they got the 10-1. But when y'all say modified 7-3, whatever, 1, what is modified? What is the difference between the old and what you're calling modified? That's what they don't understand.
That's a very good question. The difference is, here's the major difference. Someone from District 7, and I'm just saying this, someone from District 7 could run at large. Did you hear me? Someone from District 7 can run at large. There could be 3 people from District 7 that can run at large. That's the difference between the old way and the modified way. That's the simplest form I can put it.
That's not different. That's not different.
Hello, everybody. My name is Angela, and as many of you know, I work alongside Cash, and we work alongside each other, but we are not in agreement on this particular issue. I am definitely for the 10-1. I am definitely very, very educated on 731, a fake modified 731, and the 10-1, and everything else that they have said, whatever y'all said before. Right? I have read the transcripts. I have read every opinion from the judge, their rulings, the new ones, the old ones, and how everybody feels. Right? However, I pray. I vote my faith. I don't go against what I know God does not want. It's that simple for me. God have me do things that I don't want to do. Right? Sometimes I don't want to, but I'm not going to go against it. And when this came up, and they said, "Oh, it's a modified 731," I said, "I don't believe that. I'm 42 years old. My parents came to this city in the 90s, and it has been one way until I turned 40. I'm 42. So there's nothing that they were able to convince me otherwise. However, I run business, I understand business, I get it all. So I had to look at the 731. The modified to me is a lie. It's a joke. That's my opinion from what I interpreted and from what I have read. It does not even exist. But I have not seen anywhere where that actually exists. So I can't tell people, "Oh, we should consider that." I consider it. I can understand the theory behind it, but it just doesn't exist. Not in the charter, not in anything that council has passed. It's nothing. It's either a 731 that always has been, or it's the 10-1. There is no modified. There was never a modified nothing. And that's where I have the issue, is that if you want me to consider something, don't try to deceive me into it. Prove it. And the city has not been able to prove that. I understand where Councilman is coming from because I know the things that he's working on. And so the things that he's working on makes a difference. However, I disagree that we have to consider a 731 to get those things done. Does that make sense? So I don't beat him up over his decision about, "Hey, I have to reconsider this." I don't beat him up because I get it. And that's why I'm not standing there, right? Because I probably wouldn't even look at it. However, when I prayed, God told me no, that's not what God is doing in the earth. So because for me, because that's not where God is leading me, I'm not doing it. As a female, Black mother, I would never vote for a system that has been proven that has done me wrong already. There were things that I could have had at 25 that I was blocked from receiving because the same people have always ran the city. And it will be the same thing going back. However, I want everybody to be encouraged because, you know, I was upset when they passed to put it on the ballot. A lot of you didn't know that because I kept myself, you know, poised, but I was upset. But I knew what was coming, and I understood why it was coming, but I was reassured that we had the votes on that ballot for the 10-1. And so my only issue from here is, if we know we have the votes, why are we still talking? Why are we still complaining about it? The votes are there. The strategists on both sides. Now, I do believe, and I have already told Cassius, I'm not saying anything that he doesn't know. The question that is going on the ballot is a lie. It's wrong. I don't believe that question should be there. I think it should be simple. Do we want to keep the 10-1? Yes or no? That should we switch from a modified, it is a lie because we do not have a modified 7-3-1. And that's the problem that I have with the flat out lie in my face is an insult to my intelligence. And that's what makes me angry. And I have said this in front of council. So I'm not saying anything that I have not said. I'm very clear on where I stand. If you want to know where I stand, it's not hard to figure out. I don't wait. But that's the issue that I have. However, voting suggests that we have the votes to vote in the 10-1. So for me, it's more about, let's go vote for the 10-1. That question is a lie. Apparently, all the strategists say, hey, we got it. I feel like if we keep complaining that they put it on the ballot, we are taking away from the message that says you need to vote yes, and we're going to keep the 10-1. Right? Like, it's too much confusion, especially for my generation. City council does not believe this, but I'm an 80s baby. I'm a millennial. We are not divided. Millennials are not divided by race. My mother's generation is. We are not. You can't have me without them, and you can't have them without me. It is going to take the rest of city council to come around to that truth. They're not there yet, but they will soon get there. But for me, the conversation needs to be, hey, you guys, they're putting this on the ballot. This is what it's going to say, and this is the proper answer. Anything other than that is completely a disservice and it's too confusing for everyone. We just need to know that in order to vote it in, this is what we need to vote. Going back and forth of who voted in, who chose it, okay, whatever. The millennials are going to show up at the polls for 10 minutes. So I just need my mama's generation to show up at the polls for 10 minutes, right? But if we keep having these conversations of going back and forth, my generation is going to become disengaged because it's like I thought you just said all we need to do is vote it in. But if all we need to do is vote it in, why do we keep doing this?
So thank you, Tangela. I've got to close, everyone. And listen, let me say this. Let me just say this. Let me give a response just really quick. I want you guys to see that Tangela is still on my team. Can I still be in your team? Can I be in your team? Come on, Pastor. I started with you, Pastor.
Right there.
Okay, last question. I've got to close. I've got to go. No, I
So-
know. Thank you.
So thank you for making time for my question. But what I want to ask you is, are you currently getting financial contributions from rich developments at the oceanfront? For example, Michael D. Sifford, who gave you $10,000, or Bruce L. Thompson, who gave you $9,000? And my other question is the modified 731 system actually legal?
Good question. I tried to get money from, so anyway, I tried to get money from whoever would give me money. As a politician, how it works is you petition those who align with your beliefs. And so that could be, and I petitioned everyone, but only a certain amount of people gave to me. And as long as they believed in my, what I aligned with my initiatives, the rec center, public safety, public library, more of a police presence, economic development, making sure our seniors are taken care of, making sure that our youth, if they chose to give to my organization, to my campaign, I accept that because it takes money to run for office. And so I received that from all.
But is it legal though? You didn't answer my second question.
So yeah, as long as they put their name, their company name, is the modified 731 legal? What I can say, good question, thank you, can I answer? It's in, right now, it's in lawyer's terms, and it's in, so, well, it has to work itself out through the courts. And that's what, all I can say is it has to work itself out through the courts. Once it's complete, then I'll give you an answer on that. Thank you. I gotta go, everyone. Okay, yes, ma'am, Miss Diane. I love you too. Hey, you guys gonna get mad because I love Diane? See? Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Councilman Cash Green is a board member with the CCF family and peer advocates of Tidewater. And that is a disease that affects prominently African American citizens here in the United States. But my question to you, sir, is, does Joe Smith live in District 7?
That's a wonderful question. No, he is born and raised in Norfolk, and we decided to take one of our legends that was in Norfolk, and I wanted the city of Virginia Beach to get acquainted with one of our legends. He's an African American. He is tried and true, and so it was my way of bringing the
With that said,
one of our African American legends over here to Virginia Beach.
With that said, sir, with all due respect, your constituents in District 7 voted to win. It was their vote, not Joe Smith, and not any of these pastors unless they live in District 7. It was the vote that got you in your seat. And the vote are the people. And I ask you, sir, to stand with the people, which I know you do. I've heard all you do. I know what you've done for our organization for persons with sickle cell. But in my humble opinion, I think the 10-1 voting system is the right way to go. That's just my opinion.
I respect you, I'm listening, and I'm gonna close with this note. I am going to do more R&D, research and development. Okay. And pray, yes I will. Can I close there? All right, he wants to say something.
One of the things I want to say is this take courage to come into a lion's den, seem like, and get stones hurdle at and stand here and answer questions, take questions. But that's what you paid for. As a politician. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you can't get all politicians to come and stand in the lion's den. Yeah. But I thank you for what you do for entertaining these people. Thank you for all coming out. And I just pray blessings upon you. Continue to fight the good fight. Okay? God bless you, and may God bless each and every one of you.
I'm listening to you guys. I usually ask my questions, and that was what the illegal. I see your face a lot. Yes, all right.
Good job.